Hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
We will wait for 5 more minutes, sir.
Yes.
Let all other students join, and then in 5 minutes we will start.
Yes.
Thank you.
All right. A very good evening to one and all, dear learners, everyone, DPU fraternity, entire management, our director, Honorable Safia Farooqui ma'am, panelist Sandeep sir, and our guest, respected Mr. Lothar sir, who is also an professor of practice. Namaste, sir. We
Namaste.
indeed are very grateful to have you for this wonderful webinar session that we have organized for all our learners and in the entire DPU fraternity to come and join. So it will be a 6 series of webinar. I would like respected director ma'am to kindly throw lights on the same and also to give an introduction of our guest.
Yeah. Thank you, Rakhi. Namaste to all of you. And it gives me immense pleasure to extend to you all very warm greetings. And it is my honor and privilege to welcome you all. Today, together as a family of DPU, we mark another landmark of success. And I am proud to inform you that we have been imparting quality education through DPU corporate lectures. The main objective of this webinar series are to enhance the knowledge and exposure of students to real-world life experiences through the rich and varied experiences of the speakers. So without taking much time, I warmly welcome our renowned speaker, Mr. Lothar Pirc, Professor of Practice, who in spite of his busy schedule has accepted our request and is here with us to share his valuable experience and thoughts. He is the owner and CEO of the Maharshi Ayurveda Health Centre in Bad, EMS, Germany since 1992. The state-recognized clinic in one of the Europe leading and repeatedly awarded institution for Ayurvedic treatment. He was a course leader of International Transcendental Meditation Teachers Training courses and has worked on deepening of meditation practice. Study of consciousness as a field of all possibilities, Vedic literature, Maharshi Ayurveda Vedic management, and various international projects under the personal guidance of Maharshi Mahesh Yogi at Maharshi Vedic University in Waldorf, Netherlands. He is a founding president of the German Foundation of the Promotion of Vedic Culture and many more. He is currently associated with us as a professor of practice, and we are really very grateful that he is with us today. So without taking much time, I welcome you, sir. And I would like that you throw some light, you give us some knowledge to us as well as to our students. Welcome you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the nice introduction. And I greet all of you and all the students. It's a great honor and privilege for me to be associated with this DPU, very prestigious institution, which has good name all over the world. And I have been there in person many times. And I will be very happy now to share my knowledge about principles and practice of Vedic management. Vedic means pertaining to Veda. And Veda is the most ancient knowledge of the world, originating from India. India is the land of the Veda. And I have been very lucky to be with Maharshi Mahesh Yogi for 49 years now. And I have been running this health center in Bad Ems. You see it here on the picture. It used to be the emperor of the palace. And in the last 30 years, with our 90 staff members, we have treated more than 30,000 people from all over the world with Ayurveda, the ancient science of healthcare from India. So we're very grateful also to India for this wonderful knowledge, because we have been helping so many people with chronic diseases where modern medicine really couldn't help anymore. And it's a prevention-oriented approach. And it has many, many wonderful rejuvenating benefits as well, and very successful in the treatment of chronic disease. I'm very happy that I have met Dr. Patil, and your vision is to build an enlightened, culturally and economically vibrant India and develop the full, competent, professional, literate minds of the citizens. And this is exactly where consciousness-based approach can be very tremendous, helpful for that. So to create the leaders for tomorrow in your institution, I think Maharshi Ayurveda, Maharshi Vedic Science, and the Maharshi Corporate Development Program can be helping a lot. This is a picture of my teacher, His Holiness Maharshi Mahesh Yogi, who is the founder of the Transcendental Meditation and TM City program, the Maharshi Corporate Development Program, and Maharshi Vedic universities and Ayurveda centers throughout the world. And the 6 lessons, just to give you an overview, today we will talk about consciousness-based business and management. In the next session, we will have a look at the holistic perspective from Maharshi's Vedic science. Then we talk about the principles of Vedic management, very ancient principles that have been forgotten. And lesson 4 and 5 we will be looking into the benefits for the students and for the employees and the company as a whole by introducing Ayurvedic healthcare, Vedic healthcare into business life and into personal life. And in the 6th lesson, we will also look at other Vedic technologies like Sthapatya Veda, the life of building houses and cities planning in accordance with natural law, and also the relationship between the cosmos and the individual, which we find in Jyotish. So it will be very fascinating new knowledge for many of you, I'm sure, but I can assure you it's very practical and creates benefits right from the beginning. So today we are starting here with lesson 1, consciousness-based business and management. And just to give you an overview, we will learn about the creative intelligence in nature. We will learn about the discovery of a unified field of natural law. We'll talk about higher states of consciousness. We hear about the benefits of scientific research for the company, the executives, and the employees. And we will find out why consciousness is the most important resource of any company. And also we will get to know some case studies. There are many companies around the world that have introduced these programs. Now, this is something that may be completely new for you. We are looking now here at a chart, at a glance, about the Maharshi technology of consciousness from the light of physiology. And you see here that our body, we are now going into the deeper levels, the fundamentals of our physiology. The first, we find that our physiology is built up of many different systems, like the nervous system, the immune system, the respiratory system, the hormonal systems. And when we look what is basic to the systems, then we find the different organs, heart, liver, lung, etc. And organs are built of the different tissues. They are built of cells. Cells are built from the cellular components, the biochemical pathways, the proteins, the RNA, and finally the DNA. And all the genetic information is contained in DNA. And DNA is at a level of 10 to the minus 5 centimeters. So you can just see the DNA with the electronic microscope. Now, we're still penetrating deeper into the physiology. And the basis of DNA are the laws of chemistry. And the laws of chemistry at their basis have the laws of physics. And in physics, we have 4 fundamental forces. We have the electromagnetic field, all the cell phone and the navigation, all that is based on the electromagnetic field. It's everywhere, but we don't see it. Then we have the strong and the weak interaction forces that keep the atom together. And then we have the gravitation. And Einstein knew that there must be even one more fundamental field of life. And he could mathematically, in his grand unification, unify the electromagnetic force, the strong and the weak interaction, but not gravitation. But through his thoughts, also the other great scientists of his time, like Heisenberg, Niels Bohr, and Max Planck, they founded the quantum physics. And a big breakthrough has done some decades ago where it could be mathematically proven that there is one underlying field, which is called the unified field of all the laws of nature. And this unified field operates from the level of 10 to the minus 33 centimeters or 10 to the minus 43 seconds, a field where time and space emerge in a different dimension. Now I have also had the great chance under Maharshi's guidance to study the Vedas and the Vedic literature and also experience through deep meditation, make the research in the consciousness. And it's very fascinating to see the fundamental of physics, the unified field which penetrates everything, seems to be identical with our innermost self, the pure consciousness, which is described in the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali as samadhi, the field of bliss consciousness. And it seems that the qualities of our inner consciousness, the pure consciousness, they seem to be identical with what physics has discovered. Like physics has discovered that it's a field of infinite correlation. It's a field of perfect silence. It's at the same time a field of infinite dynamism. And there is one property that has been mathematically found, and that is that this unified field is a field of self-referralness. That means when it becomes aware of itself, the whole creation starts. And this self-referralness is actually a state of consciousness. You know, we have in Europe, in Geneva, in Switzerland, in CERN, the research center where they observe the behavior of the electrons in that unified field. And what they found is when the physicist is observing that field, that through the observation of the physicists, then the behavior of the electrons change. This is called measurement theory. And this has a great benefit if we apply that basic field where all the laws of nature come from in our daily life. And we find an analogy in the Vedic scriptures, like in the Bhagavad Gita. One of the fundamental expressions there, the verses say, Yoga sta guru kamani. That means perform action while established in the self. And the self is the fourth stage of consciousness. You see, the ordinary man, he just knows three states of consciousness: waking, sleeping, and dreaming states of consciousness. And during transcendental meditation, which is the Vedic technology, we can experience the source of the thinking process, where there's all creativity at the source of thought, which we call pure consciousness, the silent level of the mind. And Maharshi has developed decades ago that management for natural law can be applied through the corporate development program. And we have great benefits observed for the company, for the executives, and also for the employees. Like for the company, it has been shown to increase the quality of the product, of the services. It increased the efficiency of the productivity and the sales. We will have peak performance developing without stress. We can reduce the healthcare costs. We can reduce absenteeism, and we can create integrated corporate consciousness where the employees identify with the company and work harmoniously together. It has been found in thousands of cases that there are great benefits also for the executives, like improved foresightness and decision-making, increased creativity and intelligence, broader comprehension, at the same time, the ability to focus attention, better communication, more energy and vitality, and reduction of stress and better health in general. Now for the employees, they will be more happy and they will feel more fresh during work. They'll have better work. They will have more fulfilling relationships at work and at home. They'll find increased job satisfaction because working expresses in inner happiness. They will develop a feeling of safety and security, and they will have less stress and less strain and less problems. What are the three fundamentals for continuous success? Full alertness, full creative intelligence, and full support of nature. And this support of nature, that means to have good luck, this is a gift of transcendental meditation. And we will explain why it happens in the later sessions. Now we'll just get more kind of an overview. So all problems in business and industry basically arise from lack of alertness, lack of creativity, and lack of nature support, which means not so good luck. The most precious resource is the human brain. It is the most powerful and most underutilized resource of every business. In average, people use only 5 to 10% of their mental potential. And there was a saying in a German business magazine that said you pay 100 billion brain cells of employees, but only 10% of these cells come really to work. And this is for a new knowledge that is needed for supreme performance. Consciousness is the most fundamental resource of every business. All qualities which make a company successful are qualities of consciousness. And the technology of consciousness that we have found most easy to learn and to apply is Maharshi's transcendental meditation, which enlivens pure consciousness, the deepest level of intelligence within everybody. And we say TM for transcendental meditation, and it's practiced twice a day for 20 minutes, sitting comfortably with closed eyes. And within a few minutes, we experience a very pleasing state of inner restful alertness. It can be practiced individually, but also in groups. And the full potential of consciousness unfolds, thinking becomes more creative, decisions are more in harmony with natural law, and the actions become increasingly effective, powerful, and life-supporting. There are about 600 scientific research studies that have been conducted, it's now over the last 40 years, in more than 200 independent universities and research institutes in around 33 countries. And one of the findings was that during transcendental meditation, the brainwave activity becomes very orderly, we say coherent, while at the same time, we are enlivening certain parts of the brain that have not been, working before properly. And this EEG coherence, that means that all the different parts of the brain, they work in synchrony, they show these alpha waves that are standing for restful alertness. And this is associated with increased creativity, improved concept learning, better moral reasoning, increased IQ. And this is reflected in the experience of transcendental meditation, transcendental consciousness, which is a state of inner unbounded awareness, a very pleasing state, which gives us great refreshment. And there have been many studies in many research, in many universities, in many schools, that the intelligence is increasing, that the creativity is increasing, like originality, flexibility, and fluency. Broader comprehension means that we have the overview of the whole thing. As an executive of the company, you have to have so many different aspects in mind. And at the same time, when a problem comes, you have to be able to focus the attention to find a solution. And this is possible when we start to develop more of our brain resources. Now, this study here shows that the restful alertness means there is a settling down of the metabolic rate. The breathing becomes less. It takes about, I would say, 5-6 hours of sleep to reduce the oxygen rate by 8%. And within 5 minutes of practice of transcendental meditation, it goes about down by 16%. And there's a meta-analysis of about 30 studies here that shows that the breathing rate goes down, that the plasma lactate is, changed during meditation. We have seen here, for example, that TM is very powerful in reducing high blood pressure. The cardiovascular health is improving. And there are many, many studies. This is a wonderful study that was conducted by the biggest health insurance company in America. It's called Blue Shield Blue Cross, and they have 500,000 members in the state of Iowa, out of which 2,000 have been practicing TM. And the study went over a duration of 5 years. And what they found is that there was decreased doctor's visits here by about 50%. There was decreased hospitalization. And the costs for spending heart diseases went down by 87%, lung diseases by 73%, cancer by 55%, so infectious diseases by 30%. And this is a very profound study with a very high significance. I think the p-value is 1 into 100,000. And there are quite a few health insurances who have done similar studies in different countries around the world. So the healthcare costs could be cut down by 50% just by practicing twice a day transcendental meditation for 20 minutes. There are certain, how should I say, criteria to measure the aging process. And we know that stress is the factor that is increasing the aging process most. And there are about 40 different parameters. We have summarized just a few here. When you see in the area of physiology, for example, as you age, the blood pressure goes up. With TM, it goes down. You see in the biochemistry, the cholesterol goes up. With TM, it goes down. The hemoglobin concentration goes down with age. With transcendental meditation, it goes up. In the mind-body coordination, the reaction time goes down. With TM practiced, reaction time gets faster. And there are many areas also in the area of psychology. For example, the memory gets worse as we age, and with TM it gets better. The creativity becomes less. With TM it goes up. And also the general health, which is going down with the aging process, is improving for transcendental meditation. And the summary of a big study comparing the data of the whole population of America with 2,000 people practicing TM, the average age was 40, was when the people practiced TM more than 5 years, that their biological age is about 12 years younger than the average of the population. This is here the chart showing this. So the shorter meditators meditating up to 5 years, they were 5 years younger. Then there is reduced anxiety, less fear for transcendental meditation. This study has been updated recently, and there are about 146 studies that show the effect of different relaxation techniques comparing with transcendental meditation. And it was found that TM is about twice as effective in reducing fear and anxiety than other relaxation techniques. There is a general development of the personality, increased tolerance, increased confidence, increased emotional stability, improved social behavior, and there is less nervousness, less hostility, decreased depression, and decreased irritability found in people that practice transcendental meditation. This is a study that was done in Japan. There is an improvement in the job performance. There is a better relationship at work with co-workers and also with supervisors as people begin to practice transcendental meditation. Increased job satisfaction, improved health and vitality. This is a big company in US, Puritan Benefit Corporation, and they found improved mental health, improved vitality, organizational contribution, and also that the stress was going down, physical complaints was going down. And there are many, many more studies. This is a study done by the Japanese government in the heavy industry company Sumitomo, and they have 8,000 employees. And they found in a long-term study that the physical complaints went down, anxiety went down, so many positive benefits. And why does it all happen? It all happens because when we go within, when we dive within And everybody can learn it. It's easy to learn. It takes only 7 steps to learn transcendental meditation. Then twice a day, it's like having holiday. It's a rest twice as deep as during sleep. And the mind begins to settle down and experience this inner peacefulness, which modern physics calls the unified field of natural law, which in Vedic science is called Atma, the self, or Samadhi, different expression. It's a very natural approach, a wonderful technique, and you don't have to meditate long. The benefits already come in the first days. I've just taught 3 days ago a group of 8 executives in Germany, and they're completely satisfied about the benefits even within the first 3 days. And there are many, many quotes. I will give you a website later where you can go deeper into that. And this gentleman, the chairman of a big company, Tata, you know, in India, Tata, it's a few years old. He said, Maharshi Corporate Development Program brought more than 20,000, 25,000 employees who were introduced to the transcendental meditation much closer together. We felt enriched and empowered and better able to serve. There are quite a few case studies. We won't go into detail. This is a case study done by General Motors Corporation in United States. And they found increased relaxation and decreased stress. They found improved health and more positive health habits and increased job performance. And there is a lot of related scientific research, and I'll give you the website at the end of my presentation that you can see all the references and go deeper into that. There are many companies around the world, like in Holland, Germany, Sweden, Estonia, Russia, Japan, Hong Kong, Taiwan, Thailand, Australia, New Zealand, India, many, many companies in India, South Africa, France, Spain, Brazil, Peru, Mexico, United States and Canada and Britain, where companies have adopted the Transcendental Meditation Program for the benefits of the staff and also for the company as a whole. Here's some international references of big companies like American Express, Bank of America, Hewlett Packard, Motorola, Siemens in Germany, Tata in India, and so on, who have good experiences. And there is an overview here on the website, proven track record, many companies in India that have introduced the Maharshi Corporate Development Program. And Maharshi founded a new science many years ago, the science of creative intelligence, which is the science of consciousness. And there are certain principles of creative intelligence. And in each of the lessons, we will look at 1 or 2 of those principles. And today we look at the quality that the nature of life is to grow. Everything wants to grow. And every employee in a company also wants to grow. And when the people at the factory, when they have to do the routine work, always the same things, then after some time they will get depressed. But we want to grow, we want to experience more happiness, more creativity. And this urge of every human being is satisfied when we dive within and experience the unbounded bliss consciousness, the inner happiness. So the nature of life to grow will be supported by the practice and introduction of transcendental meditation. And Maharshi teaches us that we have to water the root of life, water the root to enjoy the fruit. And the root of life is our inner consciousness, our inner happiness. And the root of life from the perspective of modern science is the unified field of all the laws of nature. And this is really a wonderful technology that can be easily introduced into the life of everyone and every company to make the company blossom, have more creativity, better job satisfactions. And at the same time, there is something which we call collective consciousness. Collective consciousness is the sum total of the consciousness of all the people in the world. And if 1% of a population is practicing transcendental meditation and goes within and releases its own stress and experiences the coherence, the orderly function of the brain, as everything in the universe is connected with everything else, there are also many collective benefits. And we have seen from many studies that when many people practice TM, that the crime rate is going down, that the accidents go down, that there is decreased turbulence and violence in society, there is improved national economy, there is overall improved quality of life, and also improved international relations. So that means when you learn how to meditate, when you have your own company or you're an executive in a corporation, when you will remember this and you will introduce this consciousness approach, this ancient Vedic approach of consciousness, which is scientifically validated, at the same time, you can contribute to create an integrated national consciousness. Here are some websites for you. So you may like to learn, find out where you can learn transcendental meditation. And there is an organization in almost every country around the world. And the website is www.tm.org. And then you choose your continent, your country, and then also your local center of transcendental meditation. If you like to know more about these references of companies where transcendental meditation has been introduced, you will find many references. The website is mcdpindia.org, mcdpindia.org. And then if you want to know more about the center that we are running in Germany so successfully with the ancient Vedic knowledge of Ayurveda, the website is Ayurveda-Bad Ems. Bad means in Germany spa of healing water. It doesn't mean bad, it means something good, healing water. And Bad Ems is the name of the city.com. And if you want to know more about myself and other courses and YouTubes, my website is lotharpirc.com. Thank you very much for listening so attentively. And I would be very happy if there are many questions that I can answer. That's why I have shortened the presentation, that we have enough time to answer questions. And I'd like to go back to the director of the Center of Online Learning, Dr. Safia. If you could please take over and moderate from here.
We'll just wait for a minute. So obviously it was a wonderful session, knowing so much about the transcendental meditation, which you hold a high command over the topic. And you, again, hearing it from you, it was indeed a pleasure, sir. And I hope I see a lot of our learners getting really excited about this particular topic here in the chat. However, sir, if there is there are few questions that our students would like to have answer from you. I'll just check if our student has any questions that they want an answer from you. We would ask them to put it up in the chat. We can take it from there, sir. Just wait for some time. All right, so we have one question from our learner. His name is Mangesh Naskar. He says, could you please tell how this meditation influence on EEG waveforms?
Yes. So what happened was, when the people first started with this transcendental meditation about 60 years ago, they reported that they feel completely relaxed, like something they never experienced before. And at the same time, they were fully alert. And usually when we are resting in sleep, we don't have any awareness. And when these reports were repeatedly coming up, then some scientists got alert and they said, well, we are living in a scientific age. We should be able to really measure objectively what these people are talking about. And then they developed the research to measure the EEG coherence. What they did, they put about on 35 or 40 different places of the scalp, they put the electrodes. And then they connected it to the computer. And then they programmed the computer when at least 95% of all the different parts of the brain showed the same coherence. Then they saw on the screen of the monitor a dot. And then they saw when the people were not meditating, there was no coherence. And as they started to practice, after 2 minutes already, the entire brain was working in a very coherent way. And what they found is the longer the people meditate, and in my next lesson, I will go into one of those studies. I don't have it now at hand. It will take a minute or two to find it. I will show you in the next lesson some video clip, how the brain research was done. And you can really see when the people start to meditate, how the brainwave activity becomes more coherent and integrated. And when we speak today, we are living in a scientific age that the average person is using only 5 or 10% of the consciousness, that means of the brain, basically. Then we can also prove that as people unfold higher states of consciousness, that their brain becomes more integrated in their functioning. Ultimately, we want to reach a state of the full potential, which is called enlightenment. Enlightenment means we are not in the dark. We are living completely aware, and all our thinking process and our emotions, they are completely in tune with nature. And this ability also that I mentioned before, the ability to focus attention while at the same time have a broad comprehension, this is also reflected and can be seen in the coherence of the brain activity. So does it answer the question?
Absolutely. Also, sir, so since you have taken up this topic, we see a lot of people having so many queries. The topic indeed is so much, exciting. So we have a couple of queries on the same, like, is there any process in which, for 5 minutes, they can go into the transcendental meditation mode? And how is it different from the normal meditation that we do?
Yeah, it's a wonderful question. We have to learn it, the transcendental meditation. And we can only learn it from qualified teachers who have gone through very thorough training. You have to practice TM yourself and take many techniques and courses. And then the final step is a 6 months full-time training course to become a teacher. And the basic nature of our mind is to go for happiness. You see, everything we do in life, ultimately we do it to be more happy. We are working hard as a student, that we have great exams, and that we get a good job later on, where we have a lot of money and comfort of life. And so we are used to strain a little bit, to accomplish something in life. And that is not the case with transcendental meditation, because the mind is going automatically for more happiness. The mind likes to go within when we show the mind how to do it. You see, now we are discussing something. And if somebody would start to play some nice melody, some music, then we may notice after a little while that we're not actually listening to the seminar, but that our attention goes to the movie, to the music, because it's more, The same thing with the animals, the bees, honeybees, we could think their nature is just to fly around, but their fulfillment, they are attracted by the nectar. So everything in life is growing towards more happiness. And this is actually the main force of transcendental meditation, because the inner silence is more pleasing to the mind. You see, we are thinking all day, every day we are thinking. And from small child to an old person, we are always thinking. Did you ever think, what is a thought? And where does it come from? Now, thoughts are comprised of energy, they are a form of energy, and intelligence. So the intelligence is giving the direction, how we think. Yeah. And since the thoughts come from within, we can conclude that every man has a source of thoughts within, and that must be a source, an infinite reservoir of energy and intelligence within. And this source of the thinking process, ourself, the Atma, is by its nature Ananda, bliss consciousness. Now the mind is now looking for happiness outside. We want to have a new computer, we want to have a new car, we want to have a new dress, and that gives us some satisfaction, but it doesn't last. If we have it, then after a short while, we want something else, right? Now, when we learn during transcendental meditation, to meditate means to go within, basically. And transcend means to go beyond. That means we start on the surface level where the mind is very active, and then we learn how to dive within. And as the mind is going more inside, the mind feels attracted by the source of thought, which is pure happiness. And therefore, we don't have to make an effort. The mind actually is looking always for this experience. And in order to learn that, we will learn the technique. And the technique is comprised of a mantra that is selected individually. And it is comprised of the technique how to use the mantra properly. And the only thing I can say at this stage is that it's very easy, it's very natural, it's very effortless, and we like it. Everybody likes it. And what is the difference to other parts of meditation is that other parts of meditation, there's so many forms of meditation, but they can be categorized in 2-3 categories. One category is that the most meditation forms available, they involve concentration and effort. But concentration and effort is an activity, and it's very difficult through activity to reach a state of non-activity. Just suppose we consider now the ocean. There are a lot of wind, there are very big waves, very big waves. And when the activity settles down, when the wave settles down, when the waves have settled down completely, what happened to the wave? The wave has become the unbounded ocean. The unbounded ocean. Same thing is applicable to the mind. Now we are always out-directed for the senses, we are always thinking. And in transcendental meditation, we learn how to settle down the activity of the mind, transcend. And when the finest aspect of the thinking process is transcended, then the mind is left with the experience of I am, unbounded bliss consciousness. And since the mind is looking for happiness anyway, all the time, we have to learn a technique which keeps the mind awake, but at the same time undirected. And this is the technique of TM, that we learn how to keep the mind awake, and the mind will automatically settle down to the bliss consciousness. In order to learn it, there are 7 steps of learning TM. The first step is an introductory talk, a little bit more extensive than today, about the benefits. The second step takes about 40 minutes, which explains the technique in more detail. And it explains also how it is different from other forms of meditation. And then there is a personal interview with a TM teacher. So you will find on the website tm.org, you will find a teacher nearby. And then there will be an interview with the teacher, which takes about 15 minutes. And then you decide to learn. And then there is the personal instruction that takes about 1 hour, 1.5 hours, where you will have the personal instruction how to learn TM. And it comes from a very old tradition. It's not something that somebody has invented now. It's thousands of years old, and it's taught in the same way as in the ancient times. And then when you have learned, then you go home and you meditate morning and evening at home on your own. But you will make a lot of new experiences. There will be many questions. What will I do when other thoughts come? What will I do when the telephone rings? What do I do when I fall asleep, And to cover all these questions and how to integrate the meditation in your daily life, like we meditate always before meals, not after meals. We meet one day after personal instruction for about 1.5 hours, where we will also check the correctness of the meditation and where you will learn how to evaluate if your meditation is correct. Then again, you go home, you meditate twice a day. And then on the next day, you have had 4 meditations, and then you will understand on the basis of your own experiences how the mind and the body work together. You will learn how stresses actually came into the system and how they are dissolved during the practice. On the 7th step, you have meditated already 6 times. You will have already experiences to understand how higher states of consciousness are growing. And then you feel confident to do it the rest of your life on your own. But it's necessary from time to time to have a checking of the meditation session, because we are all used to make an effort, and that this effort is not creeping into the meditation practice. We need to refresh the technique and to confirm. It's like when you buy a car, you have to go for inspection from time to time, And this is all part of learning transcendental meditation.
All right, sir. Thank you so much for answering this. We will just provide an opportunity to all our learners from the attendees. If you have any queries, please raise your hand. I will allow one amongst you to ask question to Lothar sir directly, and he will be answering you. So, sir, I'll allow someone from the attendees to ask a question.
Yeah.
We have a couple of attendees. Okay. Amira Khan, you can unmute yourself. I think there is some problem. Okay, we'll check with another one. So anyone has question, you can please raise your hand. I can directly, yeah, okay. Priya Pandit, yes, okay. So yes, we have someone.
Hello.
Yes, please go ahead. What's your query?
Sir, I have one query. How is differ from that yoga?
Can you be loud, please?
Sir, is it audible?
Lothar sir, is it audible?
Raki, can you
Is it
repeat the question? It was not clear for me. I couldn't acoustically.
Yeah,
So how is this different from yoga? Is it same or is different?
So it's a question if it's different from yoga or is it the same? Is that a question?
Yes, sir. This is the question.
Yes. So yoga is a very precious branch of Vedic science. And the word yoga means unification. And it's part of yoga. Usually in the West now, maybe also in India, people, when they think of yoga, they think of bending the body and these postures. That is yoga, that's part of it. But yoga is much more. And from the 8 limbs of yoga, meditation is called dhyan. And the goal of yoga is the experience of samadhi, that means bliss consciousness. And this is what is experienced through transcendental meditation. Now, excuse me, yoga is defined by Patanjali as yoga chitti fritti nirodha. That means the state of yoga is reached when the activity, the impulses, the frittis of the mind have settled down and come to stand still. So that means that transcendental meditation is giving in a most easy and a most natural way the real experience of yoga. The activity of the mind has settled down. But the other yoga aspects, they are also very important, like the yoga asanas, the postures, and they also help to deepen our experience of meditation. They keep the body flexible, and pranayama is also very good for the vitality of the body. But amongst all the yoga forms, transcendental meditation would be considered to be Raja Yoga. Raja is the king, the highest form of yoga. And so if you don't have time to do all the wonderful yoga practices that are available, then our choice would be to go for the highest first, and that is transcendental meditation.
All right, so thank you so much for being so patient and answering to all the queries that our attendees had. Now I would request Sandeep sir to come ahead and give you the vote of thanks. So I would be requesting Sandeep sir from the panelists to be there.
Thank you, Raki ma'am. I am Sandeep. It is with me immense gratitude and a deep sense of honor that I stand before you today to extend my heartfelt thanks. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Raki ma'am for granting me the privilege of presenting vote of thanks. Our gathering today has been centered around a topic of great significance, principle of Vedic management by Mr. Lothar Pirc sir. This subject holds valuable insight that can shape our understanding and management in profound ways. I would like to take a moment to express our gratitude to Dr. Smita Jadhav ma'am, Trustee and Executive Director of Dr. D.Y. Patil Vidyapeeth, Pune. Your constant inspiration and unwavering support motivates us to reach for greater heights and excel in our endeavors. The special thanks goes to Dr. Safia Faruqi ma'am, the Director of DPU Center for Online Learning. You always provide innovative learning opportunities to all of us, and we are truly thankful for your contribution, ma'am. I wish to extend my gratitude to all learners who have been a part of this event. Your presence and participation have added depth and significance to our discussion. A heartfelt thanks is due to our esteemed faculty members and mentors. Lastly, I want to extend my thanks to each individual who have worked behind the scene from organizing the event to ensure its smooth execution. Once again, thank you so much all. Over to you, Rakhi ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much, Lothar, sir. And we are really excited for the 5 sessions ahead that we have in line. And we are really looking forward to see more insights onto the transcendental meditation and more on Vedic management. Thank you so much for your time, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. In the next session, we will give more chance to the students to ask questions face to face with you.
Yeah, it was a great joy for me.
Yeah.
And I give my greetings to all of you. I suppose most are in India, but also some from Africa and other parts of the world. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a mixed group of students.
Yeah.
And I think the students are all very much interested with the transcendental meditation, and they would like to do this program. And it is really very much helpful for them also. So I think in the next session, we will keep more interactive, so that you can interact with the students live and they can ask questions directly with you.
Yeah.
So nice. Thank you, sir, for giving us a time. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you all the students.
Namaste.